So welcome to the Creatives Coffee Hour, everybody, with your host Artemis North and Shadows Pub. And the floor is open. Who's sharing who's got what today? So what were you doing yesterday in San Diego?
It was my niece's 5th birthday party, so even though we moved away, like that girl, we will move heaven and earth for anything for her. So we headed back down on Saturday. So we drove like 18 hours in 36 hours. It was pretty insane, but it was hi Dunsta. It was well worth it. My sister is very, very creative. She had the entire place just looking like, we were under the sea. And it was a mermaid party. So I'll look to see if I have any pictures that are good enough to share later on. But right now, I'm still kind of waking up.
That's okay. Sounds beautiful.
It really was. It was a really fun time. So I can't believe how tired my voice sounds right now.
You just sound like some coffee and chocolate might help.
It always helps.
I mean, it's chocolate.
Exactly. Good morning, Eagle Gnome.
Yes, we were all gnome something or other in here the other day. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So
it looks like everybody's slowly going back to what they were.
Yeah, I put mine back. I was misnomer. So does anybody have anything they'd like to share today? I'd like to welcome, how do you pronounce it, Enu?
Yeah, that's Enu too.
How about I pick on you first? Would you like to share your art with us?
Sure, I would love to.
Oh, and you're right on the ball.
Yeah, I was prepared this time. So, yeah, this is I was sharing some quite some artwork of mine concerning this upcycling pieces I do. And I had some conversations, and we came to the conclusion that it would be a quite good idea to do a tutorial on something. And I was sitting here and thought, yeah, what for a start, to keep it as simple as possible. And 4 or 5 years ago, I started with this kind of locket, bracelet, all upcycled. So I used a surfer bracelet that was laying around from a wrist watch, a casing, and then I had my moss that I collect outside and dry myself and put it all together with some beads from a broken necklace. And we thought, this would be a quite cool idea for a start because it's very easy. You need just a few things. Everybody has a broken watch.
I do. So going to be a series?
Yes, this is going to be a series. So to have everybody prepared who would like to start with us, we put that 0 post out. So it's part 0 actually, in which we describe what you need to be part of the first part to start with, the first tutorial. So what you might wish to prepare in order to have a smooth start with us.
This is a beautiful post. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of them.
Yeah, they are. In that post, there are some other pieces that are, done the same style. And I was lucky enough, like 20 years ago, to went to flea markets, and I had some old parts laying around all the time because I like old stuff that tells a story. So I have this Art Deco parts and whatever that is seen shown in the post. So but just an old watch does the trick, so you don't need to have any spectacular things laying around.
I love recycled art, and you are very talented. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So does anyone else have anything they'd like to throw up there? Because you know what's going to happen if you sit there quiet. I'm going to start throwing stuff up there. Okay, fine, be that way. Let's start with this. Oh, Done Stuff has something, but I already pressed upload, so we'll wait for you. But check this out. Those are Altoid tin robots. I thought that was the cutest idea. And it's just all kinds of little odds and ends that they've put together. And I think that's not, well, I don't know who your child's going to be, but that's something that could go with them right up into their teen years. Oh, there's Trouble Bluefin in the house.
Hi.
How you doing?
I just had to get my appropriate outfit on. Now I'm better.
Did you do your nails?
Well, most of them.
The middle one is done, though, I'll bet.
That's really the only one that gets worked out a lot.
Because he thinks that's nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
I like the way you said that's nice. So, Done Stuff, are you looking for something that you wanted to share with us? Hey, there's Battle. Hey, Battle, good to see you.
It's just something that I was looking at the other day. I'm working on my current post at the moment, which is time-lapse photography and stuff like that. But I figured I'd just throw that in there while I finish up what I'm doing.
Very nice.
So I've got a 3D print going in the background, so hopefully that's not too annoying.
No, it's not too bad. It's coffee hour.
I don't want to alarm anybody, but I ran out of coffee like 2 hours ago, and I've still got another day till I get paid.
Uh-oh.
I probably should have a trigger warning. He's out of coffee. Ah!
I feel for you, but I'm not sharing mine.
You're not going to email him some?
Definitely not. Then I might run out.
Damn. Hi, Engine McWitty. Good to see ya. Well, this is gorgeous, which brings me up to Picking on Bluefin Studios. Are you sharing today, Blue?
In a little bit, my head is somewhere else at the moment.
That's okay. I've got some more stuff for you guys. Oh, Dreamy, that's beautiful.
So I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's kintsugi, I think, and it's the Japanese art of taking stuff that's broken and then they don't throw it away. They fix it with gold. They repair the shards with gold to try to make it more beautiful. And I don't know, that just really kind of speaks to me. And I think I'm probably going to write a post about it. I've started to list some goals that I want to do this year, and a few people are going to try to jump on board. Bluefin going to try to do some goals today, or this year too. We're going to try to be accountable to each other. And I thought this would be like a fun thing to maybe try to learn, but I really like how, for me in particular, I think people look at that and they're, kintsugi. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But I think people look at the goals and they're like, wow, that made it look so much better. But for me, I think the person who takes the shards and takes the time to like put it together and see that there's something redeemable about the bowl in the first place, like for me, I think the artist is the one that should be like, honored, because they're the ones that see something worthwhile to begin with, and see something that is even, worth their time to try and fix and try and, smooth out those edges. So I don't know. It just really spoke to me this morning, and I like it a lot.
That is gorgeous. And what a beautiful idea behind it. I've seen the odd piece of this not in real life in pictures and wondered what the story was behind it. That's awesome. Thanks, Dreamstein. Anyone else with something that tickles their fancy? Yes, that's right, Shadows. I think the kitty girl was talking about it. And Dunstuff says there's a huge tree in Melbourne that they did. It's like 30 feet tall. Are you serious? Dunstuff did with gold? Or joinery?
Through the cracks, yeah. Give me a second. I'll try and find the link.
Wow. So while he's finding his link, this is pretty cool. They've taken a book and created a butterfly extravaganza. Isn't that amazing? At least I think it's a book. And then we found this guy. This is beyond my skills, but if anyone likes to paint, isn't that cool? I wonder if you could put some sort of protective coating on it and use it in your everyday life. It's so neat. Oh, this looks pretty cool. What's this about, Devil?
That's a teapot that I made years back.
Is it made from ceramics, or did you build it with your hands, or was it a mold?
Yeah, that's hand-built ceramic, slab-built, fully functional. The top of the head comes off so you can fill it full of whatever, and then both of the spouts can pour tea or whatever.
What's a two-cupper that you pour at the same time?
Yeah, it was not meant to be a practical thing. It was meant to sort of be a comic creation.
That is really cool, but I'd use it pour 2 cups at the same time. That's efficient. Oh, that is so cool. So how long did it take you to build that? Like to create that?
I don't know. It probably took a couple of weeks from the start of slab building it to the drying process and then the glazing process.
So what's slab building? We used to do ceramics, but they were poured into molds. So how do you do this? Do you just, like plaster seam, build it with your hand?
Well, you can see, if you look back through I'll try to actually link the post here in a bit, but I've done a few slab-built sculptures. That was the majority of what I did. I had a professor that was very proficient in mold building, and almost everything he did was built by mold, and he created some amazing work that's been shown internationally. But slab building, you just take slabs of clay after you've properly prepared it and mixed it right and cut it into strips, and then you just start squeezing those strips together, and you kind of just start from the bottom and keep squeezing and pressing, and you have to make sure that you do it correctly and your joints are done properly so that they don't split apart or break when it's being fired. And then the whole thing, of course, has to be hollow. You can't make the walls too thick or else they break. You can't make them too thin or else they break. So it's a really risky process to go through. But it's the same with molds pouring in ceramics too. If you don't do it right, if you don't pour your slip right when you pour it into the mold, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's really finicky, isn't it? This is just gorgeous work. Have you done other, you have to have done many other pieces. What sorts of things do you like to do the most?
I actually haven't got to do ceramics in a long time because it requires a ceramic lab to do it, and I just haven't had access to a ceramic lab.
I feel you. When I was a kid, my parents bought out a ceramic shop that was closing, and they even bought the kiln and set it up in the basement. That was a lot of fun. But Yeah, once you don't have access to those things anymore, it's really hard to do it again. But these are really cool. It looks like you're quite talented at it. Is this some more work that you've done?
So yeah, that's another slab built piece, and there's some pictures in it that kind of show another piece that I slab built inside of a kiln that didn't survive. So you can kind of see a different thing that I slab built.
Oh, wow. Well, maybe I'm just a pervert, but ingenuity. That first picture there, that almost looks like boobs.
Oh, the lilies of the field.
Yeah. When I first looked and then I went, no, that's not what that is. It's quite
Well, as you're hearing this from the artist, but it was definitely an inspiration just because, not that I was making it because I wanted to create boobs, but obviously parallel between the lily and the feminine form. So I was trying to get as many distinct feminine curves as I could in it, to have that visual parallel when the piece was finished.
well, you certainly have the shape correct. Even underneath, it looks like the waist of a woman. Like you did a really beautiful job.
Thank you.
Wow, you're talented. And you give it a hug. That's beautiful. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share? Oh, hi, Miss Wynn.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Anna.
Yeah, I have something. I just found one of my oldest paintings I ever did, and I felt really good today, and I wrote a story with it, and I really would love to share.
Can you repeat that last sentence, please? Sorry.
Yeah, I found this one of my oldest paintings. I found it down in the drawer, and I remembered what I dreamed when I did it. This is just a cutout of it. And I put a story to it, and the story is about Mother of Life and how she saved a little tiny town in the valley, which is called Little Lily.
Oh, beautiful. Do you like Van Gogh?
Yes, definitely.
I picked up on that. That's a beautiful piece. I love your colors.
Yeah, and it's the swirls are all in golden color, and the story really goes with. So actually, it's the first story of that kind I ever wrote, and I tried my very best in English, so it wasn't that perfect, but I think it's a lovely story to explain the picture and the dream behind.
I'm sure that's going to be a good read if the artwork's anything to go by. Gorgeous. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're more than welcome.
Anybody else? Done stuff. You had something you wanted to throw up. I still love your neck. I done stuff.
I've done it all. That's the latest one.
Oh, that looks pretty peaceful. I want to be there. You're where? Australia or New Zealand?
Australia.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, good. Unless you didn't say, are you English?
Oh, no, I know better than that.
To which my usual reply is, once upon a time.
You and your criminal ancestry. Was it you that pointed that out to me the other day?
Yeah.
These are beautiful, peaceful photos.
Bear in mind that because they're only worth $1 per post, I don't put up like the best of the best.
Very cool. I like your time lapses.
Yeah, I like the serenity of it until like a squawking herd of seagulls goes past.
Seagulls are a pain in the butt no matter what country I think you're in.
That actually just reminded me. While I was down there yesterday, there was these two ducks, and they're like running up onto the bank, and then they had rummaged through the weed, and then they're running back into the water and like splashing their faces around in the water. And I'm like, what are these bloody bastards doing? So I videoed them for a little while, and after about 20 minutes or so, the seagulls started coming over and hassling them. So I'm like trying to shoo the seagulls off. And then I went over and had a look, and they were finding Lebanese bread, or what do you call it, mountain bread. But because it was all dried up, they were grabbing it, taking it in the water, and splashing it around a bit to get it moist so that they could eat it.
Oh. They used to fly over. We lived not very far from one of the Great Lakes, Lake Ontario, when I went to high school. And they used to fly around our high school a lot because, teenagers throw a lot of garbage around. And I was sitting outside one day and it pooped right down my head, the side of my face, and down my shirt, and right in my bra. It was the grossest thing. After that, I wasn't too impressed with seagulls. But it's supposed to be good.
Mine, yours.
I love that movie. Dreamsteam says she gets freaked out when they eat. Come on, Mike,
Sorry, yeah. It's like whenever we're at the beach. It's like there's a million places that they could fly, and they fly directly over you every single time. I don't know. I just think they're aiming. They're waiting and they're aiming for you.
I think you're right. It's like a bird conspiracy or something.
Totally.
It's funny you say that. On the way from my place down to where I do the work, it's like 2 blocks, but because there's a whole lot of Norfolk pines on the way, I actually go up a block and across a block and down a block as opposed to just over 2 blocks.
Mrs. C. Wynn says they're gangster birds.
But there's nothing worse than you riding along on your push bike and the next minute there's a big bit of poop in your eye.
That's pretty gross. The Canadian geese up here are bad for that too. I figure my grandson Apollo, the oldest one, must be a good luck kid because he got pooped on once or twice by them. Yeah, like the mafia. They're neat. Sim girl, what are you doing these days? Do you have anything you'd like to throw up with us? Oh, that sounded gross.
This is something I did a long time ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a dimension in a game of Rift. Me and Snook for a long time used to play this game, and we would collect items to decorate with, and there would be contests, kind of like on Steam It, to make different scenes, and this one was Death. I don't remember exactly. It's been a long time. But I went back recently to start building. I want to make a Steam Monsters Tavern so that we can have a background for it. So that's what I'm working on now, but I don't have pictures, but I do have a picture of this old one, so I thought I'd share it.
Oh, this is going to be really neat. So it'll be along these lines what you're working on for Steam Monsters?
Yeah, I'm going to try to use the Rift game to build the I guess the scenery of it, because I mean you would actually have to be a player of Rift to go to the dimension and walk through it, which you could if you played Rift. So, but I'll just take a bunch of pictures and try to use them, and it's a lot easier to create it than to try to go on the web and get a picture that looks like you want it.
Oh, gotcha. So when you're creating stuff in Rift, are you picking out all these colors and textures and everything?
Oh, yeah, your dimension, depending on the type of dimension, because they start you off slow and they give you like a little tiny dimension. You can only have 25 items. And then eventually throughout the game, you'll buy more dimensions or you'll upgrade your dimensions. And you can have up to 2,000 items. So when you get in there, it's pretty much empty except for the background, like the mountains and the land and the grass and stuff.
That's really cool. I love your pumpkin heads.
Aren't they great? They were for my Halloween quest. And we get dimension items when you go on quests, and it's just a really cool game. The only reason we stopped playing it is because after a while it gets overwhelming and you have so many items and you're just really confused.
I think I could understand that. These are really neat. Do these take a long time to build?
Yeah. Yeah, I go in, I usually start with the basics. I put some lights in, and I try to get the bigger pieces. If I'm, like right now I'm at Steam Monsters Tavern, so I have a wall. It's a big brick wall that I used as the bar. And then I have another dimension, and one of them in there, in that post, it's Nico, the bartender, and it's an interactive. So you can walk up to him and ask for a beer, and he'll put beers on the bar. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. And then I put the tables and, stuff like that. And then I'll decorate more and more. And then I'll put a big thing on top. It says Steam Monsters, and I'll create it with like gems or something.
Talented lady. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's a free game. So if you like to decorate, you can, go on there and decorate to your heart's content. All right. As long as you have the items.
That's like sending somebody down a rabbit hole.
It is. It is free to start, and me and Snook, of course, we don't pay for it, but you can get a lot of stuff for free, and then you can also have the option to buy everything in the game, so you could be, advanced. But there's no monthly fee, so like WoW. And it's almost the same exact game as WoW, so if you wanted to go in there and just kill stuff, you could. You don't have to decorate.
That's cool. I didn't know it was free.
Yep, it's really fun too, and they save your stuff because I haven't been there for 2 years. I've been playing The Sims and I've been playing WoW, so I haven't been. It might even be 4 years, and I went back, and the only thing I had to do was rename my characters, but all my dimension stuff was still there. All my characters were still there.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like something I could get lost in and never come back to Steam, so I better not try it.
Yeah, it is.
So how do you, when you're so into the different games and that, how do you balance your time? Because it must be easy to spend hours zoned right into it.
Yeah, it does. I use it usually as like after everything's done, and I really need a break, and it does give me the break that I need. So like if I don't want to do the dishes, I'll go play my game for a while, and then it'll make me in a better mood, and then I'll go do my dishes.
I like the way you do dishes.
Yeah.
That's one thing about housework. It never leaves you. It's always there when you decide to go back.
Yeah, your dishes are always there for you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Sim Girl. That was fun.
You're welcome.
How about you, Evening Art? What are you up to these days?
I can share you some fishes.
Some fishes?
Here you go. Here's some fishes.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
So this one was something totally different for you to draw, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a weird one to get asked to do the first time. It's like, can you draw me holding a fish? What? And I honestly thought he was taking the mick. I really, really did. And then the carp angles just keep coming back. So yeah, they're really good fun.
What a beautiful job. And that's a honking fish.
No, he's a whopper, isn't he? There's another couple I did on the post. The last kind of image is a bit of a what do you call it, time lapse video of doing the actual fish.
So do you know what type of fish it was?
It was a great big mirror carp, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it means nothing to me either.
It's almost like a great big honking goldfish.
I think that's what they are, isn't it, basically?
I think so. Oh, these are beautiful. You are just so talented.
Seriously, it's just playing with a pencil for many hours.
Oh, I betcha. How long do you think, I know you don't time it, but how long do you think this photo would have taken you?
Well, the first one, the actual thumbnail one probably took me the longest out of the three on the post because it was the first time. I reckon, I don't know, about 30 hours probably.
I can believe it. That's a lot of detail.
It was quite a big one as well. Actually, and the the third one on the post, because I got a bit obsessed with all the detail in the scales, and each one had a little shine in it.
Yeah. I mean, even the wrinkles in the pants, they look amazing.
I think I had to have someone remove that one from me because I just wanted to carry on.
Were you getting it going to draw a whole world?
A little bit obsessed.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Thank you, Evening Art.
Thank you.
Very nice. So does anyone else have anything on their mind or anything they want to share? Andy, how's your piggies?
They're all gone.
They're all gone now?
Yeah, they went to their new homes last week.
I bet you missed them.
You're really, really sad. It's not. After they destroy your lawn, you just want to get rid of them.
Fair enough. Ingenuity, she's on week 3 of labor. She brought the kids over last night because the night before I'd gone to spend the night because their waters had finally started happening. And still no baby, and she was into the hospital last night praying they'd just break her water and get it over with. But she goes to the OB tomorrow, so no news on baby. She's a stubborn baby girl. It's going to be just like her mama. What's this, Sarge? Shadow's pup made me do it. I once knew a cute little gnome. He is the subject of this little poem. He went on a trip to Canada. He zipped the mountains, kicked his ass all the way home. Oh, that was good, Sarge. Yes, Shadows, God help the world when she's born. I love that, Sarge. That's really good. If no one else has anything to share, then I'm going to do some more. How about something musical? Sort of. Tin can drums. You know, I used to make so many things when I was a kid for my Barbies. I never thought of making a drum set. That's pretty cool. Yeah, a drum set. Oh, yeah, it would be about the size of American Girl, wouldn't it? There you go. There are people out there that are addicted to American Girl dolls, and they make clothes like you would not believe for them. Oh, your baskets, Mrs. C. Wynn. They look like...
At the craft fair, when I was just selling my photos, there was a person a couple of booths down who sells American Girl clothing, and each outfit was around $55 or $60.
I believe it. It takes time to make them. Mrs. C. Wynn, did you get your baskets done in time for your friends that were retiring? One down and one to go. Excellent. I think these are a great gift because you can use them for so many things. And unlike wicker baskets or other types, you can just throw them in the wash. Well, so to speak. Your friend retires on Friday. Oh, so you're really hustling now. I think your friend's going to love them. And she's typing away. Well, while she's typing, how about a fish made out of pop can taps and bottle caps? I thought that
a friend years back that used to do those sort of things, and the ones that you tear that have got the two little bits on the side, and they used to go and make like motorbikes and stuff out of them. It's pretty hectic.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Motorbikes?
Like little ones, not like, rideable.
Well, yeah, that would be interesting. That would. I've been collecting pop can tabs for, about 3 or 4 years now. We don't drink much pop, so I rely on my friends who have their own addictions. And every once in a while I get a new baggie of them. But eventually I want to make some lamp shades. No, I didn't make that fish. That was really cool though, right? A lot of these things that I find are really old. There's stuff in my archives. I like to keep an archive of things that inspire me or things that I think are cool. But then I find new things which tend to be old too. You can connect the tabs together. Some people make, what is it, piece? No. The mesh that the knights used to wear. I forget what you call that.
Chainmail.
Thank you. Some people make that and they'll use jumped loops from jewelry to do it. Some people use fishing lines. Some people use glue. Some people use wool. Depends on what you're working.
Well, also on the old pull tab, you could take the tab part and loop it down and then just crimp it.
Oh, that's right. It's a pretty neat idea. And this one that I just posted up here, if you already have artistic skills, and that's not really me, but apply them to an egg flat, and they look really amazing. Crazy almost.
And you could do two scenes. If you're looking at it from the left, it's one scene, and the right, it's another.
Yeah, it's almost like illusion scarves where you knit with a dark color and a light color, and you do it in such a way that as the scarf moves, it's almost like a hologram. Those old cards we used to get, move them back and forth, and the picture appears. Perspective, that's it. Yeah, that looks cool. Oh, and they're just crimping them together as bluefins did. That's really cool. I've seen people make purses out of them too. So
I've seen purses before.
they're really neat. I wonder how long they last, because I wouldn't mind. They're really expensive to buy. I don't know. I don't know if I have even close to enough tabs to make one. So everybody's got old CDs around, and I have actually got a link for this. This is something you can do just yourself. You can do it with kids.
You scratch the kids?
Well, if they really piss you off, I think you might be able to find a way to get away with it. But no, I think that's frowned on. But I think this would be something really fun. I've got a whole bunch of old ones that I want to do with the kids. Have some time. Oh, there's the Bug IQ. What are you
Hello.
up to these days, Bug?
So much.
Wow, that was like talking to shadows.
He just
I
was.
I think like just moving, packing up a house that you've been in for a long time is like it's a brain drain whether or not you're thinking about it.
I feel ya.
Yeah.
I raised the kids in this 3-bedroom townhouse in Oak Ridge, and after 13 years, we had to pack it up and downsize, and it's amazing the crap you accumulate. I bet you're finding things you forgot you might have had.
I have this determination that I'm just gonna like be pretty brutal because I have boxes of stuff I've dragged across Canada more than once. So
So it's going to be fun. So have you found another place to go, or are you going mobile?
100% mobile. I'm going to be on the road full time, living out of a vehicle. Gym membership, libraries, provincial parks are going to be my office for the day for writing.
That's fantastic.
Oh, for what it's worth, the account that I'm doing that under is iNomad. I'll write the account.
So take care, Done Stuff. Thanks for coming over. And
I'm not going anywhere.
oh, sorry, I thought I saw you. I was trying to listen and read what was going on. Somebody's leaving. Whoever it is, thanks for coming.
Evening Art is heading out.
Oh, sorry, Evening Art.
We were all just saying evening Art.
Oh, I getcha. So, Bug, are you going to be in a camper van, or what's your plan for that, or do you know yet?
Yeah, I do know. I saw Devil's comment there too, and you know what? I'm just going to be totally upfront with everybody. I'm not hiding anything. I think it's a journey that's worth documenting. I bought a 6x12, 7-foot high trailer that I'm going to store a lot of my stuff in, and then my plan is to buy a tall, a high roof Dodge ProMaster 2500. It's the 159-inch wheelbase model for anyone who cares, but it's just as big of a vehicle as you can own and legally park it in any parking spot in any town. But I'm actually starting this journey out of the vehicle I have, which is a Honda CR-V little SUV. So because I have the extra storage in the trailer that I can have at a buddy's house, I can be extremely light with what I have in the vehicle. So yeah, I've figured out some really incredible stuff that I hope to share for heating and cooling and stuff like that down the road. So
That's going to be quite the adventure.
yeah, no, I don't even have room for TP in their engine. It's just I got to go buy one individual wipe at a Walmart every time.
And it's a good thing that it's free to camp in Walmart parking lots.
Well, we have this advantage, Artemis, like from, what is it, from, say, Montreal to Niagara Falls, basically. I can legally park overnight at all of the en routes that we have, right?
Oh, that's right.
And those bad boys are open 24/7, and I mean Christmas and New Year's. It's like legislated. So I got a bathroom, I got a place to hang out, I got 1 hour free Wi-Fi, and I think there's a lot of value in like sharing that experience, because there's a lot of YouTube channels that have this kind of thing, but hopefully mine is a little different. Like one thing I figured out for heating is I've designed a soapstone furnace for myself, which is insane, right? Because people are like, how are you going to stay warm in the winter? Like, are you going to have a Mr. Buddy that could kill your ass in the night or whatever? And I'm like, no, I'm going to get a little fireplace, like a little steel fireplace in the tall ProMaster van. I'm going to go to Quebec to the quarry and fill it up with a couple 100 pounds of soapstone. And then I have one of those big torches that they use for, putting tar on roofs and things. It's like a dragon's flame comes out of it.
Yeah.
Just hooks up to a propane tank. I'm going to heat that soapstone in that oven and that stove until it's like 500 degrees with all the windows open. Turn it off, clear out the fumes, go to sleep. Soapstone will absorb all the heat, release it through the night. If I get cold at 4 a.m, do it again for 10 minutes, go back to sleep.
It's such a small area. You'd think the heat will last. We used to work with a lot of truck drivers, and there was this one guy, Billy. He used to go through the mountains a lot. He'd get stuck in the winter pretty bad. So he kept just a pot, one of those terracotta pots, and a lid and a candle. And that would be more than enough to keep appropriate heat in the cab of his truck until
Yeah.
snow came.
Yeah, the clay pot thing is terrific. What I'm going to have to be careful of, what I'm really super sensitive about, is anything that consumes oxygen, even a candle in a clay pot. So with the soapstone oven, there's no fumes. It doesn't consume any oxygen. It just releases the heat that it's absorbed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. So it sounds like you're going to be downsizing a lot. Are you going to get a storage unit for things you can't bear to part with? Or are you going to totally downsize and everything you own will be in your trailer?
Everything's going to be in the trailer, and it's gigantic for what I need. Like I've got, 6 by 12 by over 7 feet tall. That's a huge space for me. The sofa doesn't even belong to me. That's my buddy's. He's been actually storing it here while he's renovating his barn. And, leather chairs, little things like that I can sell. It's no issue. I'm selling a lot of instruments, all my silver coins I don't need anymore. So, yeah, I'm downsizing a lot. And, you'll see the whole story unfold and some of the unique ideas I've come up with for storage and stuff like that. That's really super inexpensive and far more durable than I think a lot of people have.
Well, do me a favor, will you? We followed a couple called Pure Living for Life, and we followed them for several years while they bought their piece of property and they were going to homestead. Well, every time I watch their videos, they're so interesting, but they're only 12 to 15 minutes long. If you're doing a really cool job, make your videos a little longer for when we get addicted to them, okay?
Yeah, that's an interesting thought, and I find that so interesting for you to say that, because as I've consumed a lot of YouTube content, I often thought I liked shorter videos, but now I'm not so sure. The one question I saw was how long I'm going to be doing this, and it is literally indefinite. There's this feeling I get when I'm out on the road, and you look up like the few days we've had, right, where we got a bit of relief from the heat, and it's just a blue, sunny sky with fields of gold and hay bales in the field. And I know it's gonna suck in the winter sometimes, but my work is wherever I am as a musician, right? So if I want to play down in Niagara Falls, I never get to play there because I have to come back to this house. So if my house is with me and I don't have to give a hotel $200, man, I'll go down there when I have 4 or 5 free days in a row and play 5, 6 shows and hang out at the falls,
You can pretty much go wherever you want. As long as you have your passport, you go to New Orleans, you can go all over.
Yeah, and I don't want to belabor it or take over the show, but I mean, basically my work is wherever I am, and I'm well known at a lot of the big like seniors chains that I work for, like Extendicare and Chartwell. So they trust me with their big shows, like their open houses, their barbecues, their New Year's things, their Christmas parties. So if I phone down to all the Chartwells and Extendicares around a certain area, that they're going to be able to know who I am. They just have to look in their system and go, oh, geez, yeah, sure, come to a show.
That's awesome. I think I'm certainly going to be looking forward to following your adventure.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, thanks for asking.
So, Bluefin, you've got some recent work you want to show us? That would be cool.
Yeah, now that you say that, of course, I go back and get it. Hold on.
Well, of course, I feel you. I always think I know where everything is until it's time to put it up there.
So I've been doing a few of these, go back and touch some of my images and rework the tones, whether I'm doing, here's another one. Just trying to deal with choosing between some of these black and white treatments and some of the color treatments, or even some of the sepia tones and other images. And I just, it's a different way to look at some of my images that I've seen over and over for years. And I thought maybe I should look at them with fresh eyes or in a different way.
That's a hell of a shot.
Thank you. Which one? I mean, not that all of mine aren't, but which one did you mean?
Well, I'm looking at the clouds over what is that, the ocean?
Yeah, the clouds over the ocean. And if you notice the tip of the bottom shelf cloud, there's a lightning bolt that goes up from the ocean up to the lenticular cloud above.
Yeah, that is a hell of a catch. And the black and white, actually, I think is even more stunning. So when you go to frame up your shot, what are the most important things that you're looking at? Where the eye's going to move or where you're setting everything up? How do you go about it?
So I don't know if you know this, but in painting or an image of any kind, there's this thing called the rule of thirds. Essentially, if you take any photo and you draw a big tic-tac-toe hash mark on there,
Yeah.
the eye is drawn to those points where the lines cross. You know, the hash mark, the big tic-tac-toe line.
Yes. Actually, rule of thirds is a really important thing in photography. When I first started, I thought I had to center everything, and then I started learning. And the rule of thirds is an important part of it, isn't it?
It is, because you want to always, because you don't know this. I mean, you don't recognize this in some people, but they tend to get uncomfortable if you don't leave room for somebody, the subject's eyes, or or motion. If somebody's running, you want to leave room in front of them in order to them make it not feel so uncomfortable. So there's that. You want. I like to put the action to one side to give room so that it feels comfortable, so that the action can flow into the photo. And this set of lines, the curves on the clouds, it gives a natural flow to it. You have the heavy part of the clouds off to one side, and they flow into the image that way.
I love this photo. The first thing you notice is that little piece where the lightning is, and then your eyes just move along. And then you go, what's happening over here on the far left?
So on the post, if you actually go there, there's the color version as well. And it gives you the chance to say, oh, I see what he's talking about, and looking at it in a slightly different way. I guess I enjoy, getting as much out of it and going back and revisiting some of the images.
Yeah, I think we were kind of talking about that in the channel the other night about, one person said people are lazy. I asked them to go get this shot, blah, blah, blah. But it really is nice to go through your archives sometimes and pull things out and look at them a little differently, isn't it?
It is. I mean, you go back and you're like, oh, why did I tell? Yeah, I remember that. Or now that you have other experiences, the image means something even more than what you started with.
Yeah, it really does. I have this one picture that I keep going back to. And I think it was the night that I actually got my first DSLR camera. And it's basically just a tin roof outside of our place that we were living in. And it had rained. And the tin roof was red. And there was water droplets all over. And I spent a long time playing with that. And I keep going back to those pictures because to me they're interesting and beautiful. But to the rest of the world, probably not so much.
Yeah, but it's fun to go back and take a look at first of all, it's fun for you personally, not just because the image is cool, but also because, hey, this is one of my first nights with the camera.
Here's an interesting GIF or picture that Devil put up. This Fibonacci curl. Have you ever implemented that into photographs? Setting up shots?
Yes. Yeah. That's, essentially that's the golden triangle, the golden rule, the rule of thirds in geometric form as opposed to, what's the word? Logarithmic form as opposed to just in straight geometry.
This looks tricky. Is it as tricky as it looks?
No, you're following the same rule. You're just flowing instead of straight lines.
Oh, okay.
If you look, you'll see that it's not quite thirds. I think it's actually like 2/5, but I'd have to go back into my math, my trigonometry from earlier in life, and I didn't think that'd be math once I got out of school.
I know, right? I see what you mean. Okay. I've never actually played with this one. I'll have to. I'm just a total amateur.
Which kind of makes
That
me
looks
think of
really
that
like.
one.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I got to look something up anyway. Hold on.
So I'm looking at it, and I like it. Like I feel like it just whatever would be in there would just naturally draw you in. But obviously, like I've done stuff that there's grids, on your lens that pulls up like on a camera. That thing doesn't pull up on your camera. So like how do you do that with a photo?
Well, you can shoot the shot, and then slightly crop it to put the interesting things along those points along that line. You can also realize that really it's basically, it doesn't have to be dead on that line, but just close enough. So if you stay with rule of thirds somewhere along that line, you're on a rule of thirds somewhere.
But it looks like it's like that line is kind of like, I don't know. It's not a line, it's a curve, but like how it's curving all around and then like ending right there. How do you is it just by feel? Or are you just trying
It
to
is by feel. Nobody ever puts it exactly dead on, puts the eye of the bird exactly dead eye on the rule of thirds lines or the hash marks, because you also have to take into account the massing of, let's say, a bird or the beak that extends over. So you want it to be approximately a third. And you want the interesting part of the image to be approximately on this arc that goes around the Fibonacci curve.
I think designs and stuff where they have spirals and how like pleasing to the eye that is that based on this?
Yes.
That's really cool.
That is really cool.
It reminds me of like the eye of Ra, like how it comes out of the eye, and like when they put that little whoop, in the Egyptian pictures.
I'm sorry, they put that little what?
Ew.
It's a really technical term. It's called the whoop.
Oh, we'll have to look that up.
Should I spell it for you?
Yes, please.
I think that like Greg and I should like trade photos like that we like and have each other work on our photos and see what we do to each other's photos. That would be fun.
Oh,
Can I show you one that really bugs me?
bug? Yes, of course.
Take care, Mrs. Sewin. Good to see you.
It's a triple bug.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic shot, though.
I just love him because she's so pigeon-toed. She's so cute. I don't know
that whole day of shots from that the little flycatcher eating the bugs was great.
Oh yeah, the one with the spider. I can put that in if you want, but man, did I ever get lucky, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and sometimes that's really all it is being in the right place at the right time.
I think this is the one you're talking about, Blue.
Yep. Yeah. That's it. I mean, that's got everything. You've got the eye, looking at the emotion and the attention of the bird is on you, the viewer. I mean, it's just a great shot. And then you have the action of the eating. It's a great shot.
I can't figure out why she would she jump down and grab her meal, then come back to a perch and kind of look around before she eats it. Some instinct.
Yeah, they always do. It's funny when you watch them. I have all these feeders up, and they'll grab their seed, and then they'll go. I also tie these big branches on my deck railing, just so that when they grab the seed from the bird feeder, they go back to a branch. And they feel more natural, but then when they're on the branch, they always look around to just make sure no other bird's going to come and try, or no predator, while they're not paying attention, is going to eat them.
Yeah, good point. That second shot there, I don't know why, I love the bokeh on it so much, how it's almost like weeping. I can't explain it. Maybe you get me.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. There's something nice about it. Plus, I just love that effect anyway, that depth of field. Well, Asaria, I don't blame you. I mean, Cheez-Its is important.
You should have a Cheez-Its photo shoot. Dress up your Cheez-Its.
Oh, I thought, yeah, see, I went a whole different direction.
Okay, that's it, man. The gauntlet's been thrown. We have to do wait a minute. What the hell is a Cheez-It?
It's like the best cheese cracker ever.
It's a cracker? Okay.
Cheez-Its and Cheesies. There we go.
Are they like cheezels?
Well, what are those? Are those like puffy, cheesy things?
Of course.
But then they must. And on that note, how about we close off the show? It's been a great show. Thank you, everybody, for coming and joining in. I've learned some new stuff that's really great, and I hope you guys did too. So from Artemis North and Shadows Publishing, this has been the Creatives Coffee Hour. Go forth and steamiate.